If you're like me, Nintendo kind of feels like a shadow of the company it once was. The burning passion you used to have for the Marios and the Zeldas and the Metroids, well, it's kind of died down into a dimly lit candle. To the dying embers of a camp you used to be part of called the Nintendo fan community. The games, they got bigger, they got easier. For me, they got less imaginative. I mean, I remember when Nintendo had a dedicated handheld, not just a Switch. The games, they were beautiful pixel art games. Now, everything is this pastel, clay-looking art design. And it feels like this for every game now. Huge franchises cannibalized, cult classics like Chibi Robot, F-Zero, Star Fox. Now it's just the Mario Karts, the open-air Zeldas, and Donkey Kong Bonanza. I mean, it just looks like a game made for children. See, I was a Donkey Kong fan because it was like the hardcore platformer version of Mario, a game for people who were serious about platformers. The new Nintendo Switch 2 console, it isn't this wacky, fun, experimental, innovative thing from Nintendo, it's just the Nintendo Switch again. Anyways, I just recently watched the F3 2025 trailer, which is basically like a direct for fan games, and I just wanted to talk about a few games from it that had me really excited. I just want to let you know that the spirit of Nintendo, it is still alive. It's just not on Nintendo platforms. This is going to be rapid fire because I just wanted to get these games out there, Anyways, let's get straight into it because I think these might surprise you, if you're not big into the modding scene or the hacking scene. Mushroom Kingdom Fusion is a Mario fan game crossed over with a bunch of other popular franchises. It has 21 playable characters. I'm talking Mario, Sonic, Mega Man, Samus Aran, Simon Belmont, Kirby. It just goes on and on and on. Over 200 levels and 9 worlds. And if that doesn't sound ambitious enough to you, there's over 100 bosses in this game. You can pick this up straight from itch.io. Project Green is a fan game that people are calling Super Luigi Odyssey. I mean, just look at this. I never thought we'd be seeing hacks of Nintendo Switch games this soon. And I remember even before Luigi's Mansion, I've always wanted games that only starred Luigi. This project looks incredible, and I can't wait to play it.
Yep. Oh yeah. Project Green!
And check this out. We have a 16-bit remake of Earthbound. This is definitely a game I want to play since I never got into the Mother series, but I think when it releases next year, it'd be a perfect chance for me to jump into this beloved JRPG series. Over on Game Banana, you can find this reimagining of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door called Encore, and if you're a fan of the original, you definitely want to check this one out. It adds an expert level difficulty mode, rearranged item locations, brand new party skill sets, full-scale rebalancing, reimagined dungeons and progression, exclusive enemies, harder bosses. I mean, this has everything. This is more than just a remaster. This is a reason to jump back into one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Ultimate Trial is a ROM hack of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It adds new characters, locations, music, custom enemies, and upgradable equipment with its own story. The description reads that Link and Navi find themselves deep within the Lost Woods as they stumble upon a mysterious stronghold, not knowing what will await them there. Are they courageous enough to enter it? As a longtime Zelda fan, a classic 3D Zelda fan, someone who was kind of disappointed with the new open world Zelda games, at least Tears of the Kingdom, I really liked Breath of the Wild. But, it's ROM hacks like these that breathe new life into the games I love and grew up with. Something I no longer get from Nintendo. Another Paper Mario mod called Tower of Trials is a roguelike for the Thousand Year Door, which sounds really damn cool to play. Fighting through a castle, fighting a bunch of enemies as you gain new party members, gaining new moves and badges and other cool stuff. It sounds like a pretty awesome pick up and play experience. In this mod, you're completing a journal and you have a bunch of achievements to work towards. Another one I can't wait to play. Alright, so this is probably the one I'm most excited for. I had to have dumped thousands of hours into the Nintendo DS back in the day, and there's a ROM hack of Super Mario 64 DS, and this looks amazing. It looks like a total conversion with 8 new worlds to explore. I was always a big fan of Super Mario 64, but there was always something charming about the DS version. Even if it didn't control as well using the D-pad or the bottom screen to move, which I never used, I'm definitely gonna be downloading this one on day one. Ever thought it was strange that we didn't get a Metroid game on the Nintendo 64? Well, AM64 pretty much tries to create what it would have been like. This game is being made from the In Denial game studio, and they just released a trailer not too long ago. It looks like it mixes Metroid Prime and Other M together with how it plays. Hopefully we don't have another Metroid 2 remake situation on our hands, because I really want this game to see the light of day. Look, I know I have a lot of Mario games on this list, but this is just a Mario kind of year, okay? I have to talk about Super Mario Eclipse, because this isn't just a simple ROM hack. This game feels like a full-blown sequel to Sunshine. 120 brand new shines, 3 playable characters, new movement mechanics, improved game engine, remixed boss fights. It has its own original soundtrack. There's a new story. It even has hand-animated cutscenes. This has to be one of the most ambitious Mario fan games ever made. And these fan games, they never stop coming. They're basically relentless here on PC. And if you got yourself a handheld like the Steam Deck, which is what I have, or a ROG Ally, or even one of the many retro handhelds. I have these 2 Game Boy Advance clones from Ambernick here, and I really love to play Pokemon ROM hacks on them. Right now I'm playing Pokemon Unbound, and it's just amazing. It's the best Pokemon game I've played in my life. I highly recommend it. Seeing that new Pokemon game, I can't even remember what it's called. It just cemented the fact that the franchise is dead for a lot of us old school fans. I've always wished I could go back to the pixel art era of Pokemon. So with these endless amount of ROM hacks that are out there, it's like a dream come true. Speaking of retro handhelds, I haven't really been interested in any new handhelds pretty much since I got the Steam Deck. But there's this new handheld from AYN called the Thor, and just look at this bad boy. This is a dual screen OLED running on the same chipset as the Odin 2. At least I think it is. I have to look at the Odin 2 specs again. But it's the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. And if it is the same, man, this thing's gonna be a beast. And we have the new fork of Citrus called Azahar. It has all the bells and whistles, including Vulcan. I've been testing it out a lot on the Steam Deck, but I'm not gonna lie, I've been wanting a proper dual screen retro handheld forever at this point. I was even hoping that's what the Nintendo Switch was gonna be. And the Thor, it definitely looks promising. These fan games, literally, they'll basically last you forever. And the reason I'm bringing up these handhelds is because you're not just tied to one system or one console. There's like a million different handhelds outside of just PC where you can take these games with you on the go. And I'm not just trying to be negative, because I know there's probably a lot of Nintendo fans that still appreciate that streamlined experience of just booting up a console and not having to tinker around with things. But for me, personally, and yes, it sounds like I'm gonna rail Nintendo, for me, the price of games, Nintendo trying to go for all the power, even though the Switch 2 is a little bit underwhelming, the digital key cards, the online subscription service, it just goes on and on. There's just too many red flags for me. And the Switch 2 was really the first time I decided I wasn't going to get a new Nintendo console. Fantendo games, which, yeah, we kind of made that word up. But anyways, Fantendo games are the Nintendo fan community getting together and creating that old school experience back when we had Reggie, back when we had Iwata, back when it didn't feel so corporate, when the focus was on making fun experiences. And I have no doubt in my mind that these experiences aren't still fun, but I think that this company, it's just leaning too heavy into greed. They ramped up their lawsuits, tried to put patents on basic gameplay mechanics that already existed in other games, went full Apple with all of their accessories, gave people these digital key cards, which nobody wanted, by the way. I just want to let you know that the spirit of Nintendo is still alive, and it's here on PC. Coming from a console guy all my life, someone who has always slept on PC, I can tell you right now, it's the best place for video games. And I haven't felt this much passion for the hobby since I had an Xbox 360. For that, a PlayStation 2 and GameCube. Here on PC, just playing all the fan games, all the mods, all the ROM hacks, for free, by the way, I feel like I did back when I was a kid, back when gaming was magic. But anyways, that's it for me. Catch you in the next video. Later.